What's up guys, Max Tech Toybox here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a video review of my experience with the Tesla Model Y Performance. Sort of broke this video down into 4 distinct components: the delivery experience, driving experience, charging experience, and then piggybacking off of charging, what everyone wants to know, the cost to charge at home and what that electric bill looks like. So stay tuned for the review. So first things first, let's talk about the delivery experience. In terms of me picking up a car, I guess not even just talking about delivery, but I'll even just talk about the purchasing experience. This was hands down the best purchasing experience that I've ever had. Usually whenever I've had to purchase a vehicle, there's always that going there, you have to haggle, you have to tell them that you have less money than you actually have. There's just this whole process of trying to make sure that they don't get one up on you and you get one up on them. Sorry. And so because this entire experience was done online, it was seamless, it was great. I really had no issues at all. My particular experience was actually sort of unheard of, because when I put in my order for the Tesla Model Y Performance, I actually got my delivery in less than a month. It was 28 days. And when I went to go purchase it, the employee was, they assumed that it took me a while to pick it up. And then it was like, oh, I'm sorry, you had to wait. And then he looks like, oh, wait, actually, no, you got it in 28 days. That's unheard of. Never, he hadn't seen anything like that. So I can't complain too much about that. However, I have multiple family members that have also purchased Teslas, and I'll probably do a more comprehensive review a little bit so that I can get everybody's opinion on all of these different things, so you guys really get a real wholesome review. But in my experience, it was fine, no issues there. When I went to go pick up the vehicle, they had my name in the window, in the front windshield, had my name. I didn't really have to speak to an employee because I had signed everything online. I did everything through the app. It was super seamless. I paid my deposit in the app. I signed all my documents in the app, showed proof of insurance in the app. So once I got up to the vehicle, I basically had to accept the delivery. The car connected to my phone. I got in. It was just great. I wish I would have gotten more delivery experience, but because everything was done through my phone, I couldn't do that because so I couldn't record anything. But like I said, overall, my delivery experience was great, top notch, really what you would expect from a luxury type vehicle experience. And I really wish that more car companies did things like this. I did not have any defects that I noticed at the time of delivery. No issues with panel gapping. There was, I think, one stain on like my armrest that I showed the employee, and they buffed that out. That was an issue. I do have, and I noticed this after the fact, I will say, if you are super excited, of course, about accepting delivery, make sure that you go over, there's tons of checklists online and on YouTube that you can look at. Don't get super excited and not look thoroughly for the car. And I say this, but I actually did this. There were some scratches on my control gear shaft that I'll show you guys pictures of. It's kind of hard to show in pictures, but so that's there. I wish I would have known that from the beginning, and they could have done something with that. Nothing crazy to write home about, but just letting you guys know. And then also just one stain on the guard that comes down to block the sun visor. Not a stain, but like a pin sort of ink. It's like a small little smudge, whatever. But again, I noticed it. So apart from that, no issues at all with my Model Y. Now, moving on, driving experience. When you first get the vehicle, it does have to calibrate, so you won't be able to use anything like the auto steering or anything like that. But driving experience, all in all, super fun car to drive, and just the easiest vehicle to drive. There's not much to do. And so some people think that because it's not much to do, it's not as fun to drive. So I was coming from a Mustang, which I loved, and I'm a big fan of Mustangs, but it's time for me to make the switch. And the only thing that I miss about my Mustang was the sound of that engine. But with the Model Y or the Teslas in general, there is no engine sound, but it is really fast, really quick. And I don't miss the quickness of my Mustang over this. So I think it's a great, quick car, fun car to drive. I love driving this. When you first get the vehicle, there's one thing, I guess you want to talk about, a con to the delivery experience. Even though I really like the delivery experience, since there's no interaction directly with an employee to go over all of the different features. Usually when you're going to buy a car, your salesman goes through like the long list of everything that the vehicle can do. With this, there's none of that. So you sort of have to find out all of that stuff on your own. Now, thankfully, there's a bunch of videos on YouTube, and there's a whole bunch of things that you can find out that your car can do. But if you are someone who is not going to go through all that, well, then there's a pretty good chance that there's a bunch of features that you probably will never touch, or Easter eggs that you just will not know about because it wasn't explained to you. But yeah, overall driving experience is great. Now talking about charging. So I'll talk about the way that I charge my vehicle essentially is at home. As you guys see with the previous video I posted, I did have a NEMA 1450 adapter that I was using. I think it was a 1430p to 1450 adapter. Since then, though, I have actually installed two 1450 adapters in the house because we now have two Teslas, and I charge them and it works seamless. I do have the 1450, of course, adapter that connects onto the mobile connector in order to charge. Seamless, super easy. Charge it overnight, maybe 3 to 4 times out of the week. No issues with that at all. Now, sometimes I do have to supercharge, and that mainly occurs with road tripping, which is pretty much the only time Tesla's recommending that you supercharge anyways. And supercharging speeds they're really fast. I will say that my first supercharging experience is vastly different from my latest one. The first time that I supercharged, because I was unaware of things like basically there's certain times of the day where you can charge at cheaper prices versus so it's cheaper to charge at nighttime versus during the day. And so the first time that I charged my Model Y was late night because I was on the way home from something, and charged quickly, and it was like $6. I was like, oh, this is awesome. The next time I charged it, it was like 15, and I was like, well, that was like 3 times the amount. I didn't understand why, and that was because there are some chargers that charge you more at nighttime. I'm sorry, that charge you more during the day, peak hours, versus off-peak hours. Also, there was an increase in the price per kilowatt. I think it's around 40 or 50 cents now. I know everything is getting to be more expensive right now, especially with inflation and everything going on. So I think that definitely is playing a role, but I do have to mention it. So it's still cheaper, definitely, than what it would cost you for gas. But the last time that I went on a road trip, me and my family, we went to Orlando. I probably paid about $30 in total in charging, and I charged one time on the way up, and then I had to charge on the way back. We went. Well, that's not entirely accurate. I charged. Well, the hotel that I was at also had a charger. So, but yeah, I would say like on a 3-day trip, when I've gone out of town, I probably spent about, on average, 20 to 30 bucks in charging, which again is not bad, especially when you factor in the fact if you were to have a gas car, you would be paying a lot more than that, but still more expensive than what I anticipated because of the increase in costs. Now, in terms of road tripping and charging, I did not have to change the way that I road trip. The beauty of the way that everything is integrated with Tesla is you put in your destination on the map. It'll tell you if you will need to charge before you reach your destination, and it will automatically navigate to that to that supercharger. So that's great. And with me and my family, we essentially have to stop every 2 hours roughly because of the baby. Get him out, let him stretch his legs, change his diaper, and things of that nature. So the amount of time that we spend to do that is roughly about how long it takes us to charge usually. Now, if you have to go for a longer charge, which that usually tended to happen on my way down from trips, then of course that's going to take a little bit. Those are like more 30 to 45 minute charges, and so that can be a little, so I plan accordingly. If pull out a movie or something like that you can watch, it's still not a huge deal, especially in this day and age with devices and everything being so connected. You can pull something up and watch something on the TV screen, and you can do that inside the Tesla Model Y as well. So I really don't have a problem with it, but in terms of pit stop charging on the way up, no problems, because those were like 10-15 minute charges, and I have to do those anyways. Now, one knock against that though is sometimes it'll tell me that I need to charge. So for example, the last trip that I had charged my car basically 100%. Well, I did charge 100%, and we were leaving to go to Orlando. And I put in the address, and it said that I needed to stop in 10 minutes to go charge at a supercharger. And I was already at 100%. I didn't understand why I needed to stop so quickly just to charge for like 2 minutes and then continue. So I didn't like that. I had to like close out of the map or close out of the navigation and restart it, or wait until after I passed that destination to start the map up to get past that. So I'm not really sure why the algorithm did that, and that's not the first time it's happened. So that's one knock against it. I do wish that you could just hand pick the chargers that you want to go to along the destination instead of them just telling you which ones to go to. And even still, piggybacking off of that, sometimes you may be navigating and it'll tell you, well, you should stop here, and you have sorry, still about 60% battery, and you know that there's another supercharger maybe 15 minutes from there, and you'll still be around 45 to 50% battery. So I would prefer to go to the other one instead of all of the frequent stops. And so again, that's a little annoying that you have to close out of it or just know that there's another supercharger to do it. I'm pretty sure that there's some reason or another that they have you do that, because they probably want you to get there with a certain amount of charge remaining on your battery once you actually arrive at your destination or something like that. But either way, I just would like a little bit more flexibility and options to choose. Also, sort of touching a little bit about the charging experience. I had no issues at all connecting at the superchargers. It was really seamless, very easy. It was almost like second nature, the same way it is when you go and you get gas. I just backed into the supercharger. I plugged in the charger, right? Essentially, I take the cord, put it right at the charging port. The door opened up, plugged it in, and it started charging. The way that it works is super seamless. It connects directly to whatever mobile payment that you have through the Tesla app, whatever credit card you already have connected through the Tesla application. So I don't have to pull out a card or credit card or anything like that. And then after it's finished charging, I just unplug it. So super easy, super convenient. I have heard plenty of horror stories with other chargers, Electrify America, and I won't necessarily say it's the charging or the chargers themselves, but it just seems like there's no universal protocol for other cars and for other car chargers, which they're supposed to be. So like I said, I know that I've just heard lots of different things about charging outside of Tesla and with like a Ford Mustang Mach-E or just any other EV vehicle and going and charging at a different location. It seems like they always run into issues. But like I said, for me, I had no problems at all with charging at the supercharger. Now, going away from the supercharger and the way that I charge the majority of the time is at home, talking about the cost of charging at home. So the first real month that I had the vehicle was between, I think, March. I got it on February 28th, so I think March probably depicts the best, but unfortunately I don't have access to that. I have my April and I think May. And I also will say that during these months, it's a little bit difficult to gauge the exact amount that's due specifically to charging, simply because I do live in Florida, and the hotter it gets, the more the AC runs. So the AC, the bill tends to tick up a bit as we get in those summer months. But as you guys can see, basically about a $50 to $60 increase at that time period, which is really not much at all, especially like I said, or maybe I didn't mention, if you're paying $40 to $50 a week in gas, you do that times 4, that's already $200. That's just for one vehicle. So once my wife also did purchase a Tesla, she purchased it at the beginning of June. So the first real month will be June to July. And I will be able to talk to you guys about that experience and how much the electric bill went up. Again, knowing, taking that with a little bit of a grain of salt, because I know that these summer months, our electric bill just tends to tick up a little bit. But let's just say $50 to $60 times 2, extra $120 onto the bill. That's not much, considering if you're paying $200 a month for one vehicle, do that times 2, $400 a month in gas. You know, that's a savings of $280. So I'm quite all right with the amount of money that my electric bill has gone up by just by charging at home. So overall, hope you guys enjoyed the vehicle. Like, comment, subscribe. If you guys have any additional questions that maybe I did not touch on in this vehicle, please leave them down below and I will do my best to answer them. I will also be posting a couple other or series of vehicles, maybe talking about my experience, my wife's experience with a Tesla, and also I think 4 of my other family members or 5 also purchased Teslas, and also and just getting their input on maybe some of these points that I made here, maybe some other things that maybe they have experienced that they really think that you guys should know. A small sample size, but still a pretty good sample size outside of just my experience, so that you guys have a little bit more information in front of you when making your decision on what vehicle you may want to get, whether that is a Tesla or if that's another car. The Teslas that have been purchased were Model 3s and Model Ys. Actually, including myself, 2 people have Model Ys and everyone else has a Model 3. So again, if you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. And then when I get to making those future vehicles, hopefully we can answer those questions if I don't answer them in the comment section. So this is Max Tech Toy Box signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.